The Magic and the Celtics. You're watching the strained hamstring, which means the Celtics hold a three games to one series advantage after winning Game 4 on Sunday in Orlando, 107-98 in that game. Jason Tatum had 37. Here's Jaylen Brown getting the score.
Right there by Jaylen Brown. Got right to that mid-range jumper and pulled up. Easy work.
Orlando got into this series with a Game 3 victory, 93-95. Paolo Banchero has been the third leading scorer in the postseason so far. He gets it up to Franz Wagner, 4 on the shot clock, guarded by Tatum. Wagner in the corner. Corey Joseph, no good on the three. Orlando is really strong.
When you look at those shots, those wide open shots, like a shot that Corey Joseph just got right there, he's going to have to be able to knock that shot down if Paolo and Franz are going to have enough space to work.
Horford connects. That's a long two for Horford.
The ageless wonder. And that's pretty much the difference between these two teams. One team has the ability to stretch the floor, the other does not. They both compete defensively, but on the offensive end, the Celtics stretch you out all the way to the three-point line. On the flip side, the Orlando Magic, one of the worst teams we have in this league at shooting the three ball.
Franz, 4:18 to go. But they saw the experienced Celtics go on a run. There's Paolo Banchero, first points of the night for Orlando.
And right there at the top of the key, I thought Porzingis could have showed his numbers a little bit more, made Paolo kick that ball out to Franz Wagner.
This year, his team has endured a lot of adversity, several big injuries. There's Bill Russell. There's Wagner.
Great move right there by Wagner. He just simply set Al Horford up, made him think he was going one way for the post-up, quick reverse pivot, and got an easy layup.
There's Horford. Down to Porzingis. This is where they want him. Work it inside. Porzingis way off, using the poke. They want to push the pace. Orlando's traditionally a slow-paced team, but when you pick up the pace, things like that happen.
Yeah, sometimes there's going to be turnovers when you push the pace, but Orlando's going to have to roll the dice because they're not scoring that well in the half court. They're going to have to get transition buckets tonight.
Porzingis, his second consecutive possession, getting a shot off, and that time it goes down. Coming foul trouble in Sunday's victory.
That's a better matchup for Porzingis. He was one-on-one inside with Contagious Caldwell-Pope, and he made easy work of that.
Banchero misses there. The Magic now shooting 2 of 5. Porzingis, logo three.
That's deep.
Here's Corey Joseph, who was inserted into the starting lineup late in the season after Jalen Suggs went down with a season-ending injury. They tried some different people at that spot, but ultimately have settled on Joseph. Wendell Carter, three, no.
And this has been the Orlando Magic's Achilles heel. To get those shots is great, but the ability to knock them down has not gone well for them.
Down low to Brown, gets it knocked away. Good effort by KCP up to Franz Wagner. Wagner had 24 in the loss on Sunday. Has struggled with his efficiency. Wagner may have got hit in the head. Slowly gets up. Here's Banchero driving. Banchero at 6'10", muscles his way in. He can't find the shot tonight.
Paolo, with Coach Mosley, he said Paolo's just scratching the surface, which is scary for the rest of the league. So there's still a lot of things in his game that he can improve on. He feels one day he will be in the MVP conversation as KCP knocks down the jumper.
It is now a 6-6 game. Here's Porzingis driving. Porzingis, the bucket and the foul. Porzingis will go to the free throw line. 11 three-point attempts. But then did knock down 2 of them. Tatum just got credited with his 3rd assist of the game. Boston leads it by 2. 7:43 to go, first quarter. Here's Banchero. Wagner out to KCP. In and out, no good for KCP, who has struggled all. Let's welcome the audience on NBA TV who just watched a thriller of a game, seeing Indiana get a 119-118 win over Milwaukee in a wild game. Here's Wagner driving for Orlando, and the Magic tie the game up at 8.
I love out there in transition. You understand your team struggles to score in the half court. They need as many transition buckets as possible. I know that's not what Orlando has done traditionally this season as far as scoring in transition, but they're going to have to do it if they're going to win tonight in Boston.
Porzingis' three-point struggles continue. For those of you just joining us here on NBA TV, Celtics can win and advance tonight to the second round. They lead the series 3-1. Horford gets the steal, but here comes that pesky Orlando Magic defense. They never stop.
Great defense by Corey Joseph.
Banchero in transition. He is struggling tonight. Now it's Wendell Carter getting it back for the Magic. Nabil mentioned the word physicality. There's been a lot of that in this series. Franz Wagner driving. Wagner getting the roll.
That's tough right there.
We've been playing physical all year. We've built our identity on the defensive end of the third job of defending without fouling.
Right. And they definitely have been physical. This Orlando Magic team, their calling card has been defense. But in these playoffs, I will say some of those fouls have had a little bit extra spice on them. Just a little bit. They want the Orlando Magic want to make sure you know when you've been fouled.
Turnover. Here comes Carter. And now it's a 13-8 lead for Orlando as they have scored the last 7 points of the game.
Well, let's see if Pritchard can get going. He was big time in the first 2 games of this series, scoring 19 and 14, but the last 2, he's combined for only 3 points.
Yeah, shut out in the Game 4 win. Tatum driving. Tatum blows the bunny.
Too easy of a look.
Tatum so far today, 0 for 2. But he does have 3 assists. Here's Carter going at Horford. Joseph whips it around to Franz Wagner. Wagner out to Joseph. Joseph uses the screen. Now Carter in the corner. No good. Way off.
Man, and it's just been a struggle all game long for the Magic from behind the 3-point line.
All season long, 30th in NBA in 3-point percentage. Tatum gets his first bucket. And that's now a 3-point game.
And that's the problem with this Orlando Magic ball club. You have 2 great scorers when you look at Banchero and Wagner. They can absolutely get it done as they've been carrying this team in this series. But there's not enough shooting between those 2 guys. As we see KCP knock down a triple. And also,
KCP was just 4 for 16 from 3 coming in. Remember, he made his name winning 2 titles shooting threes for the Lakers and Nuggets. That was first 3. KCP coming up with a steal. Now he gets it back. Is he feeling it? Maybe.
Definitely is. Listen, we know this young man has that championship level pedigree. And
suffered the injury to Tatum. He said, listen, it's just playoff basketball. Pritchard off on the 3. 9-point lead for Orlando.
And in the playoffs, it's supposed to be a little bit more physical, a little bit chippy. You start playing against each other on a nightly basis. I know your plays, you know my plays. Tired of seeing you. It's supposed to get a little chippy.
Pritchard lays it in, forcing a timeout for Jamal Mosley. Magic Game 5, Orlando trying to keep their season alive. Cole Anthony in for the first time tonight, looking to give them a spark.
And he's somebody they need. How it's all about Franz and Paolo. Cole Anthony has the type of offense that can step up and have a big game here and really unlock those guys even more.
Tatum driving on Isaac, dishes it off for Cornette. Cornette gets the bucket and 1 more. Luke Cornette will go to the free throw line. We've blown a 3-1 series advantage. So the Magic have a tall task in front of them as Cornette completes the 3 by Pritchard on Anthony.
But if you're the Orlando Magic, you can't be worried about that number, that stat you just gave right there. You have to think of it 1 game at a time and live with the results at that. You can't think about the full
points for them. That's how we get some easy ones.
How do you carry that momentum over to the second?
Yeah, just keep our activity up, keep talking, and keep rebounding.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Phil Franz back out there. And they committed 6 turnovers over the first 12 minutes. Wagner, one-handed runner goes, so Wagner now up to 9.
Tough shot by Wagner. Getting back to your point about Boston, we talk about this team, they like to get up around 50 games. They really only got up 3 three-pointers in that first half because one of those was a half-court heave by Pritchard, so give Orlando's defense credit.
There's Jaylen Brown, mid-range jumper, no good if you're scoreboard watching. Detroit and New York right now, Game 5. 70-61 lead for the Pistons. Jonathan Isaac, uncontested dunk.
And Isaac's able to finish that strong, but that
Brown falls, Hauser gets it, cornered it White. The 3, no good. Now 0 for 5 from distance. Threes as a team in a regular season. Black underneath. Black can't get the lay-in to go. Second attempt, no good. Hauser tips it out. Harris gets it. Harris just chucks it up, and it comes back to him. That was a fortuitous bounce.
Yeah, Black's got to make that layup right there. You're on the road. You have the lead. You got to keep this Boston Celtics team down while you can.
Anthony Wild three, no good. And a foul underneath there. Anthony Black at the free throw line, second-year pro out of Arkansas. Joe Banchero on the bench as well. He's got 5 on just 2 of 6. Black misses the second. Ball tipped around, comes out to Pritchard. Pritchard last 2.5 games has struggled with his shot. Jaylen Brown with Wagner on him. A whole lot of length on this Orlando defense. Brown, no good there.
Great defense by Wagner. They come driving to the basket. Wagner guarded him well without fouling. That's important.
Cole Anthony puts on the brakes, finds Isaac. Isaac air ball right to Black. Black, reverse lay in, no. Second attempt goes right to Derek White.
Black's really struggling with those layups right now.
There's a loose ball that comes out of bounds, last touched by Cole Anthony. Remember, Cole Anthony is in conference.
And Cole Anthony is the wild card for this Magic team. As you see Porzingis with the and one. Cole Anthony, to me, is the only guy that can truly go get his offense on the defensive lapses.
Second foul on Cole Anthony. Anthony has been tried as a starter at times. Gotten the nod to start 22 games this year. They eventually settled on Corey Joseph, the veteran backup. 32-26 lead for Orlando. Wagner gets 2 on their feet, and he got fouled. Great move by Wagner.
Excellent move by Wagner. But I tell you what, on the flip side, if I'm Boston, with Anthony Black, a guy that
weird circumstance, missed a chunk of games this year due to a torn oblique. The NBA tonight on NBA TV is brought to you by torn right oblique, cost him 20 games earlier this year. Cost Paolo Banchero 34 games for 26 in game 5. Derek White, nice move. White doesn't get the roll. Boston shooting 43% from the field. Orlando 39%, but they lead this one. Wagner leaves it for Isaac, who lets it go off his thigh, and that'll be turnover number 3 on the Magic.
You saw Wagner. The guy has some fouls, you just sub him out, and you don't lose much when you go to your bench.
Porzingis, mismatch there. The double comes over. Great feed to Hauser.
Great pass by Hauser. Great pass by Porzingis. Excellent cut by Hauser.
Boston field goals. Hauser back within 6.
Hauser saw Wagner turn his head and cut right to the basket.
Wagner drives. Gets tipped in by Isaac. And Boston's going to call a timeout. Wow. Celtics have yet to make a 3. 0 for 5. White, the floater, goes down. Derek White with his first points of the game. And that brings Magic on the brink of elimination last year. They were the 5 seed, and they took the Cavs to 7 before bowing out. Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner on the court together. Banchero, mid-range jumper, short. Anthony tips it. Ball comes loose to Porzingis. Feels like Porzingis has been on the deck a lot this series.
Definitely has been.
White from downtown. 0 for 6.
Celtics still can't buy one from behind.
6-point lead for the Magic. Magic shooting 4 of 12 from 3. Wendell Carter, the 15-foot jumper.
Tough looking inside by Carter. Especially when you have to shoot that shot over somebody with Porzingis wins from defensive ability.
Gary Harris, good defender on Derek White. 7 minutes to play, first half. Porzingis taken down by Wagner. And that'll be the first on trade game missing with a strained hamstring.
Re-injury process is very high.
Caldwell Pope got it going in the first quarter. Way off on that 3. Here comes Jaylen Brown. Picks up by Caldwell Pope. Brown, reverse, fancy move. Wagner wanted to travel, didn't get the call.
I didn't see a travel at all right there. I saw a great move by Brown. Magic went back, didn't stop his momentum. He went right to the cup.
6-point game. Anthony off on a 3. Banchero, the rebound. Wagner fakes on a 3. Over to KCP for 3. No. Anthony skies in. That's last touch.
It's been a problem all season. The Magic get quality looks, but they do not knock them down at a high rate.
White fakes on a three, drives. Anthony there commits the foul. Derek White will get a three the old school way.
Knowing that they need somebody that can generate offense on his own and then be somebody that can knock down shots on the weak.
March had not started an NBA game since November of 2022, and now a staple at the beginning of games. Banchero got.
He's not afraid to get big inside also. You saw him right there with that quick spin move, just bump Jaylen Brown off to get the fouls. And you don't really get a sense of how you see him live and in person. He's 6'10". They say he's 250, but he looks like he's at least about 265, 270.
5:35 to go. Brown fakes on a three, drives, kicks it corner. Horford with a hand in his grill. Horford knocks it down. The first three from Boston. And you're right, they credit that a 2 for Horford, so they're still 0 for 6 from 3.
And that's the second time Horford's had his toe on the line.
Wagner, 7 on the shot clock. Playing with Cornette out there. Wagner, the step back. Wagner over the 7-2 Cornette.
And that's just great awareness by Wagner. Understanding Cornette can't keep up with him, and when Cornette gave him that space, he got right to the midi and knocked it down with ease.
Tatum, the drive. Tatum, scoop, skate him. Tatum can't get it to go. And here's Joseph spinning. Joseph over to Banchero. Magic said they wanted to play at a faster pace. They certainly feel like they are, but they turn it over. Brown right back down the other way. Brown, nice move, rising to the occasion, and it's a 2-point game.
Leaving Corey Joseph on skates.
Brown playing through multiple injuries, was questionable to play tonight with a right knee injury. Joseph back the other way, off on a three. Carter battles for the rebound, but it's taken down by Horford. Jaylen Brown also with a 41-39, got a good one as the Celtics can win and advance in Game 5. Cornette got hit by Banchero. Full court pressure. Peyton Pritchard starts the second half in there for Kristaps Porzingis. Here's Joseph driving on Pritchard. No, Carter, the offensive board and putback.
And we just talked about the offensive glass and how the Celtics had to clean up an offensive rebound on their very first possession.
White looking for Boston's first three. It won't happen there. Brendan Haywood, Jack.
Hey guys, I talked to Joe Mazzulla at the half, and when I use the word talked, I mean briefly. The message was simple. Before I could even ask him a question, he said, hey, they got more shots than we did. That's it. He was pretty locked in, guys.
Yeah, in fact, 10.
Celtics only have one.
That was Banchero's third foul. Porzingis on the bench. He's got 3 fouls. Jaylen Brown going at Banchero. Puts it up, and that's 4 fouls on Banchero.
Wow.
And Tony Brothers is warning him.
That's a very smart drive by her.
Power forward out of Duke. Jaylen Brown misses the first free throw.
I'll tell you what, if I'm the Celtics, when I get...
Boston took care of business in the first 2 games of this series here at TD Garden as Brown splits the free throws. Then Orlando 2. And on Sunday, Boston took game 4. Corey Joseph used the screen for Banchero. Joseph into the paint. Looking to post up Banchero. Banchero trips. Horford ties him up. Jump ball.
Oh, my man.
Banchero wins.
I'm 45, not 65.
KCP, the 3, high arcer over Horford, no good. Banchero gets it back and scores.
Joe Mazzulla is beside himself at the offensive rebounding right now.
Magic season on the brink. Boston looking to join Indiana and Cleveland in the second round. Tatum, the first 3 of the game for Boston. Go an entire game without Boston making a 3. They're 1 for 8. Magic have missed their last 9 triple tries.
You gotta give help.
Wagner over to Joseph. Last 10 missed threes for Orlando.
And that's smart defense right there by the Celtics. When you see Wagner on the island, and he has Pritchard over there.
Boston has it with Jaylen Brown. Brown at Banchero. There's his 5th foul.
That's foul. And you see what Jaylen Brown did. He drove in, he backed it out. He really...
As now the Magic will play the rest of the game without the use of their challenge. and have already committed 3.
All of the Magic offense now in the half court.
And they go right to him. Mid-range jumper, no. Tatum pulls it down. Wagner leads the way with 17 points for the Magic. He's now 6 of 12 from the field. Brown the finger roll. Boston now up 56-53. Wagner leaving it for Joseph. Magic led by as many as 9 in the first half. KCP, bounce pass for Isaac. Porzingis, who just checked right back in.
I think that foul's on Brown.
That's going to be on Jaylen Brown. He's had a year where he's played a lot of basketball. 71 games, second most in his career. Isaac, in his 6th season out of Florida State, has missed 2 complete seasons with injuries. His left knee a couple of years ago. Tatum and Brown have scored all 9 points for the Celtics this quarter. They trailed by 2 at the half. Brown driving. Brown scored.
And that's just too much right there. I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. on the island trying to guard Jaylen Brown, advantage Brown, and he took advantage.
Wagner, one-handed floater. Magic team started the year 15-7, and then the injuries hit. Brown over to Tatum. Magic, after that 15-7 start, then went just 14-28 with defense by KCP. Pounding Tatum, 4 on the shot clock. Tatum leans in. Isaac, the weak side rebound. On the bench, he's got 5 fouls. 8 minutes to go.
And if you're the Celtics right now, you have to make sure that Franz Wagner is not the guy getting the good looks. You know Paolo has that 5th foul. You have to tilt the court and show him that defensive attention.
Isaac, turnaround jumper, no. And it comes right down to Porzingis. Brown to the trailing Tatum. Porzingis, deep triple drive. Celtics now 1 for 9. Porzingis 0 for 3 from 3 in this game. Wagner, oh, that almost went down.
Almost, but they will give him that shot. Like I said, Wagner only shoots 29% from 3. The Celtics are happy seeing him take those type of shots.
Look at that battle in the post.
Especially early on in the shot clock.
Wagner and Horford going at it. Brown living in the paint. Turn around, no good. And they're going to get Corey Joseph.
And Joseph wants an offensive foul. He said he elbowed me in the face.
Remember, the Magic don't have a challenge to use for the rest of the game in the NBA playoffs. Celtics have won 6 of the first 8 matchups. Jaylen Brown off on then the Celtics.
Coach Moses said, listen, they have to be able to play without fouling.
Trailed by 2 at the half, but now lead it by 3. 6:55 to go, 3rd quarter. Celtics win, they advance to the 2nd round. Take on the winner of Detroit, New York. All knocked away by
basketball, but more importantly for the Celtics, when you think big picture, we understand that
Wagner from 3, no.
We understand that they're up 3-1. You need to go ahead and take care of business tonight. You do not want this series extending. I don't know how many times I've seen.
Boston dealing with the wrist injury for Tatum. Brown's got the knee and the finger. You've got the hamstring that's kept Drew Holiday out for now 3 straight games. Celtics would love to get some additional rest. Porzingis off on the jumper.
This team needs rest in the worst way.
Down low to Isaac. Nobody there to contest.
Great pass by Franz. Over the top to Isaac. Nobody.
1-point game. Past the halfway mark of the 3rd.
And right now, Orlando's switching everything. So if you're Boston, they're telling you where you can highlight certain guys if you want.
Brown with 2 on the shot clock. Brown doesn't see it. Brown's got to hoist it up. No good.
Orlando's switching everything. I'd get some action with Jason Tatum in it. Get Corey Joseph to switch on him and have him attack that matchup. I like that.
Franz Wagner's 3 is not in the building tonight. Underneath the whistle on.
Well, it's all hands on deck right now, and especially with Paolo having his 5th foul so early in the 3rd quarter.
They've gone final at the Garden. The Pistons have kept their season alive.
Oh, wow.
They have beat the Knicks, and now will live to play another day. The Magic trying to do the same tonight on the road.
You know, the Pistons fans probably feel like they should have won 2 playoff games in a row.
Wagner, corner, skip. Isaac wide open. Air ball.
Oh, wow. He's open for a reason.
And that's a shot clock violation.
It's guys that you want taking those shots from a defensive standpoint.
Celtics go 22-5 after the All-Star break, the second best record in the NBA from the three-point line. Tatum now has made his last 32 consecutive free throws. This is the largest lead of the game for the Celtics. Magic led by as many as 9 in the first half. Anthony, no look drop off for Isaac. He gets it stripped away. Tatum comes up.
I can't see who got their hand on that shot, but it's great hand to strip it away from Isaac.
Tatum's got Batadze on an island.
He's got to drive this.
Here comes Wagner.
Orlando's going to double. That's smart defense right there. Do not allow Tatum to go one-on-one with a weak defensive player.
Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard here in the second half.
And maybe that'll get him going. We talked about his last 2 games. He combined for only 3 points. 4 points here tonight.
Wagner hasn't hit a 3. Drives on Porzingis. Off the window. He's got 21.
And he likes that matchup. If you go fourth quarter, he feels like he can exploit that matchup anytime he wants to.
Again, Batadze guarding Tatum. 3 ball. Go!
Like I said, if that's gonna be the matchup, Tatum's gonna eat good.
Just a second made 3 tonight by the Celtics. Wagner looking for his first. Playoff. Anthony gets it over to KCP. He misses.
I mean, these aren't just misses.
Paolo Banchero back out on the court as it is desperation mode for the Magic with their season on the line. Pritchard, deep triple try.
And it looked like the Magic went to a little bit of a zone right there. Anthony Black got lost up with the 3 up top. Magic all over. I mean, Celtics all over the Magic right now.
Here's Banchero, 3. Finally, 1 goes for the Magic. They're now 5 for 30. Remember, the Magic in 3-point percentage and 3-point field goals made. But Boston's 3-point defense was also sensational. The only team in the NBA to allow fewer than 1,000 threes made. Boston struggled tonight from 3, but still have found a way. Pritchard didn't get called for a push-off, misses. Comes back to Pritchard. White back to Pritchard. Pritch, please!
You've been waiting to get that one off all game. Tell the truth. Waiting to get that one off all game.
Played the 5th.
Yeah, okay.
Wagner, he's 0 for 4 from distance. Banchero, no-look feed for Wendell Carter Jr.
Nice pass by Banchero right there. Little no-loan.
Pritchard hounded by Black. Over to Brown. Brown thinks about it, then pulls. Remember when Boston couldn't hit one from 3?
That seemed like age.
Start the game. Wagner, no look behind the back flip in.
Was he even looking at the basket? Wow, the degree of difficulty on that Franz Wagner shot was through the roof.
Magic are going to need some stops. Second best defense in the NBA. They've made the Celtics uncomfortable throughout this series. Pritchard up top to Cornette, broken up by Carter.
Good defense by Carter right there. Was able to stop the drive on the baseline and then recover enough to take away the lob pass also.
Banchero driving, no. Pritchard comes up with it. 92-69 Boston. Celtics looking to join the top-seeded Cavaliers and Indiana in the second round. Luke Cornette and Jamal Mosley calling a timeout, and he's that situation with Tony Brothers. Here is Banchero. So when Banchero went out, as you mentioned, it's a 9 run, which has been the difference in this game. Orlando led by as many as 9 in the first half. Led by 2 at the break. It's now 94-71 Boston. Brown looking for more. Drops it off for Kornet.
Great extra pass right there by Brown. Getting 2 feet in that paint, causing a problem, and then dropping the dime off for the big fella. Gotta let your big fellas eat.
Carter fakes on a 3, gets Kornet in the air, then fakes on a pass and gets fouled by Derek White. So, despite the fact that the Orlando match much here in the second half.
But what changes their ability to knock down 3-point shots, and the Magic were stuck in mud when Paolo went out of the game offensively.
Listen, the Magic had a year full of adversity. Could have been for Orlando had those guys been available for playing. How much more physical they'd be able to be.
Especially with a guy like Suggs, man. When you talk about his on-ball defense and just, he's one of the rare guards that brings a presence to the game. Most of the time when you talk about a big, but Suggs is one of those guys that will get into you, get into the passing lane. He makes sure you know you're being guarded at all times. They miss him in this series.
Suggs very likely could have been an all-defensive player had he not missed as much time as he did. Brown, deep triple try, no good. And Mo Wagner was right up there with Peyton Pritchard in terms of 6th Man of the Year honors when Wagner went down. Boncaro kicks it from Black. 3 goes down. Just the 6th made 3 for Orlando.
Importantly, like you said, the true energy guy. When you just watch some of the plays he would make, the bench really just always responded. They always were rooting for that guy.
Kornet disrupted by Wagner. And a whistle underneath. On Wagner, that's going to be his 4th. The last couple of years, playing big moments, both filling in for Horford as they manage his season to get him to this point, and for
going to play hard. You're never going to have to coach his effort. He's a coach's dream.
In his 8th season, Kornet, career highs this year in total points scored, rebounds, and in his minutes per game at nearly 19 a night. Wagner driving on Kornet.
Rejection. We talked about his defense.
Horford to Brown. 3.
You betcha.
Boncaro spinning, got hacked by
3-point explosion by the Boston Celtics in the second half. And then you just have your number one thing that this team is going to have to address is shooting on the weak side. They're going to have to find guys that can knock down shots. Maybe a stretch big, two-way wing, but there's Paolo and Franz. Paolo and Franz, 6'10", get downhill. They're going to do what they do, but they're going to need guys that can knock down shots when those guys get in the lane.
Jaylen Brown is 15 in the second half. Tatum with Wagner in his face. No. Tap back. They're still fighting for loose balls here in Boston. Black comes up with it. There'll be a lot of questions for Orlando as virtually their entire roster under contract for next season. Black fires at a 3. No. They have to come by way of trade. And there will be a lot of trade buzz this summer as Tatum have to get to work with Jamal Mosley over the summer to see how they can add some shooting to keep up with the Joneses game between Cleveland and Miami. Parker stuck it out through every minute. He watched all 48 minutes of that game.
He better than me. I logged off after the first quarter.
He said he felt it was his family responsive. Candace watching that. Moral support. You wouldn't do that for yours? Well, that's why you're an only child.
This too is true. I'm an only child. I'm very selfish. Very selfish.
All the characteristics of it. Cleveland advanced to the second round. The Celtics knocking on the door of doing the same, joining the Indiana Pacers. How about Detroit sticking it out? They'll have a game 6. Timeout called. Herman, who's moving on to face the Celtics. Pritchard doesn't get that.
Look at that Laker game. Lakers T-Wolves. Who you got? I'm putting you on the spot.
Laker T-Wolves.
T-Wolves, Lakers T-Wolves. Tomato. Who you got winning, man?
3 ball in the corner. No.
You're just gonna ignore.
I think the Lakers are going to extend the series, don't you?
No, I don't. I think
6:29 in the half.
Young Thundercats in Minnesota,
Tatum, deep triple try. He's fouled. Not missed a free throw over his last 2 games plus. Now 11 of 11 in this game. 37 of his last 37.
If you're the Celtics, it's about time to make sure you start getting your guys out, especially Tatum. I'm getting him out as soon as possible. Pritchard also.
Remember, this game was tied at 55th foul. And then the Celtics went on a 30-9 run. Hauser. Now they can't miss from deep.
Pouring it on. And took care of their business in this series. You don't want to play around. You don't want to have your guys getting out there tired, more susceptible to injury. Team down, you got a chance to knock them out on your home floor. You always got to take advantage of that opportunity.
So if the Knicks advance, check this out. As Jordan Walsh has it over to Torrey Craig. Craig, good on a three. The 12th made three of the game. So if the Knicks advance series outside of the first round for the first time in more than 4 decades, that's Anthony, outside of the first round of the playoffs.
Don't discount those Pistons. Don't knock them out just yet.
Boston beat the Pistons 3-1 during the regular season.
How crazy would that series be if they would actually call that foul on when Tim Hardaway Jr. was in the corner for 3?
Ball knocked around, comes out to Quinn. Wasn't pleased with the physicality from Orlando. If it is Detroit, how about how physical they play? And they haven't had Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, Detroit is definitely physical. That's what they do. And he throws up to Jason Tatum, 3-point allowance.
Jet Howard knocks down a 3. Make a 3. Since they've made 13 of 17. Keita, easy deuce there. Howard, back-to-back. They're going to have to develop some guys that can shoot from distance. Their roster virtually coming back as is, unless they make some deals.
They're going to have to find a way to make them the way it is from a shooting standpoint. Shooting-wise, they're going to have to get a series or 2. Well, if you're talking about being a real-life title contender, you have to be able to have guys that knock down threes.
Torrey Craig. Then Keita loses it. Here comes Anthony Black. Bounce pass to Cole Anthony with the left hand, and he got fouled.
3 straight games with 35 or better in this series. Knocking down tough shots. Championship, you get that whole summer to brag and just be the man and just tell everybody how great you are. He was kind of robbed of that. Everybody was talking about what was going on in the Olympics, so I was glad to see Jason Tatum talk up.
Celtics overcame a poor shooting half. Showed their grit and New York in the conference semifinals. Davidson, the G League MVP, no good there on the lay-in. And now the Magic will dribble it out. Magic put up a fight. They made Boston feel them in this series. There's no doubt about it. Their defense, their grit, their physicality was impressive. But the experience showed out